Leapers of Flat Arrakis, welcome to the greatest show ever broadcast across a pixel reality. From the heart of the booties in the deep desert, blasting audio greatness straight out of the double D antennas, this is Spice Wars. I am your greatest showman, Hughe Jasole, welcoming you to yet another edition of Truth, to yet another example of how we keep Flat Arrakis honest. These devs, the shadowy cabal, known only as the Zionyx Collective, claim they've dropped a developer's update. I've read through it, and with my trained eye, I'm telling you that they are telling you they're giving you balancing. They are taking just as much from you in return. Grab your still suits, hydrate your brains. In fact, I would say crack yourself open a nice dubby. Sit back and relax as I expose what's really crawling underneath the sands of Arrakis. And I can tell you it's not just gay sand trouts, ladies and gentlemen. They said it was about quality of life. Cargo containers, events logs, balancing tweaks, transfers, server merges, all designed for you. They claim it's quality of life, but I know it's quality of control. Every fix, every feature, another Dune claimed by the elites. Siphoning every grain of sand and spice they can. Draining every drop of life-giving water they can from Flat Arrakis. Let's break this down one scandal at a time. So let's start off, as I've mentioned, with the cargo containers. Cargo containers coming to Flat Arrakis. And essentially what we're going to be looking at with these cargo containers is we're going to be looking at a cargo container, a single container that you can use to transfer more items than you could possibly imagine right now across lines. Now, why are they putting this in now? Because server merges are in the works. They are planning on this. I would not be surprised if these servers start merging up right after the first of the year. Every fix that they've mentioned to us with these cargo containers tells us that we're going to be able to deliver things more easily to the main cities, whether they be the deep desert areas or Archaean, Harkonnen. You can go to these cities with all of your items and place them directly into the bank. Now, why do you think the Zions want that? Why do you think the devs want that? So that they can track every single cargo container. They tell us we'll be able to fly between maps without being tethered. They tell us you'll be able to be in a crawler, have a crawler underneath your carrier, take it right out into the deep desert. They finally tell us flight between maps with full vehicles is possible. We should more than likely be looking for this mid-November. They say it's freedom. They say it's mobility. I call it logistics. I call it leashing the free Thopter pilots. Remember, sleepers, when they give you bigger storage, they're just giving you a bigger box to trap yourself inside of. Now the Zionyx Collective truly claims this one is for you. Player events logs. Now, player events logs are pretty typical in games, but this one is going to go a little bit deeper. This one's going to be a little bit bigger. The new player event logs rolling out in Chapter 3 will record everything we do. From transactions, every scoop of spice, every sniff. Item deposits, item withdrawals, refinements, build tool activity, all simply tracked for your pleasure. They call it clarity. I call it surveillance by spreadsheet. Piped straight down by their piles, right at the Ledgerborn Syndicate. They're not just logging your loot, they're selling your habits. I just got off a stint working in New Eternum. Right before Bezos closed down. Billionaire Bezos closed down New Eternum. Things were looking fantastic. But one thing I will say is that they were tracking every login. They were tracking every interaction, every time you did a quest. They sold your data to the highest bidder. Mocking you. Mocking your freedom. They're not just logging your loot. They're selling your habits. I say we flip it. I say we flip it on the devs. And we use code words in our notes. I say we plant decoy withdrawals. Go farm more spice than you'd ever need. Make it so their data doesn't tell them the story they want it to tell them. If they're choosing to rewrite our history in real time, we'll make sure that the story they get at the end is not the story they wanted. Combat balancing. I call it war by spreadsheet. They tell you it's balancing fairness, meaningful disengagement. Crippling strike changes? They reduce the dash cost. They increase the dash distance. That's movement telemetry. This, my friends, is a movement telemetry test. They're mapping your chase. Mapping your fight or flight. Your panic. Feeding the Zionyx Labs a predictive model of you. The rapier rework? Phase 2 of a behavior study. They'll break your routines. They'll watch how long it takes you to adapt and path accordingly. Balance is never neutral, ladies and gentlemen. It's behavior control designed as compassion. So stay unpredictable. Feed the machine bad data. Never let them patch your instincts. Speaking of our instincts are very clear. As a society, we have been nomadic on flat Arrakis since the day the first sand trout came out of the sand. They say it's part of freedom. Character transfer to any seat you'd like. A tool that will take your entire base and turn it into one item that you can carry with you to any server. They say you move your character, progress, bank, backup tools to any world siege, and compress your entire base into one inventory item, place it on the other side. This is available on the public test server now, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to go try it out, I say use it, but don't trust it. We've seen what the Solido replicator has done. We know what these types of tools can take from us. Manage it properly, watch out for it, and always be concerned. And once again, we talk about server merges, the great land grab, as I call it. Fewer servers, bigger pens, more outlaws on Arrakis. Now, I can tell you it makes it easier for them to tax us. I can tell you it makes it easier for them to control us. But the bottom line is, right now, our greatest enemy on flat Arrakis is each other. We are constantly fighting and tooling for the resources that together we could gather faster. The devs put us together in a sort of Hunger Games, collecting from us as we spill our own salt and blood all over the sands. Finally, the biggest event going to happen in December, Chapter 3's released, Landsgrad Contract Board. Landsgrad Contract Economy specializes, builds, and expands builds. The main story advances through this Landsgrad. The deep desert returns toward a sandbox of spice control. Expect repeatable PvE contracts, assassinations, treasures, maps, races, construction building challenges, and faction versus faction. I don't understand why these folks are out here acting like we don't know what testing looks like. We fight in labs constantly. We know what testing looks like, and this, my friends, is testing. This is testing. Repeatable PvE contracts to teach your behaviors, teach your experiences. When they say they're gonna bring you assassination contracts, using you to quell the desert. Treasure maps. If they're so sure about where the treasure comes from, why don't they go get it? If you ask me, I think that there's a lot we can work on here. And frankly, I don't think this is a bad update. but I believe it's an update that we need to keep an eye on. Logistics upgrades, smarter combat, transfers, base backups, merges, and a meaty Chapter 3. The trajectory looks strong here on Flat Arrakis. They're clearly listening. However, how much are they listening? Are they listening, or are they testing us? Are they giving us what we want, or simply giving us what they can to quell our desires? Remember, trust in the spice. Never trust in the devs. Never trust in the patch notes. Why don't you go ahead and get me a like and subscribe here on our YouTube channel. Also, feel free to give me in the comments what your biggest game changer is here for this new patch. What's the game changer that's going to bring you back to Flat Arrakis, ready to fight once again? Like, follow, ring the bell, and beam this into a sleeper who thinks cargo containers are just boxes, so that you can help them learn the truth. Share this. Share the truth around. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is another episode of Spice Wars. I am your greatest showman, Hughe Jasole, signing off from the Double D antennas, saying to you, remember, stay hydrated, go get yourself some Dubby, hashtag booties, 10% off, Dubby.gg for your hydration drink. And again, stay alert, stay hydrated, and we'll see you in the storm.